on the matter, perhaps being more evident that he's ready to let go his second in command, or his deputy, that is Rigathi Gachagua. So if they fail to actually sit down and have a discussion of this matter, in other words, reconcile, then the deputy president tomorrow will face the National Assembly, defend himself. If he'll be able to woo the MPs to reject the motion, then well and good. If he fails to, he has an option of waiting for the verdict at Senate, and if he'll be able to tilt at least the numbers of the Senate, considering you have 47 senators who are eligible to vote, with 17, he'll be able to at least have swayed the vote or the fate his way. However, he has an option of resigning before the Senate determines the matter, which is an option many see as a safe one, so that he'll be able to contest in future elections. You know, factoring that in a constitution, if you are actually impeached, you cannot hold a public office or be eligible to be on the ballot. That is what will form a better part of the conversation this morning, even as some witnesses who will be testifying against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is the Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, in a motion that has been tabled by the Kibwezi West Member of Parliament, that is Mwengi Mutuse, with 11 grounds seeking to remove Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office. This is a discussion that I'll be having in studio this morning with my key guest, that is Steve Mbugua. He's a council member of the Law Society of Kenya. He will be telling us the legal aspect of this impeachment, and so far, if there are any loopholes, especially that could be in favor of Gachagua if he moves to court. Professor Fred Ogola is a governance expert. He'll be right here in studio, and as well Honorable Kimani Ngunjiri, who is the former Bahati Member of Parliament, by a conversation that I also invite you to join in via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, and as well on SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of the screens. I'll be glad to sample your feedback as we stream in. Already have my papers here, but we'll be reviewing them with my guests later on. But we focus first of all on these stories, where the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has apologized to President William Ruto, legislators and Kenyans whom he may have wronged that might have led to his current predicament. With his impeachment beckoning, the DP, who 2 weeks ago was just stamping, appear to humble himself as the reality of the impeachment hits and draws near. Even with the apology, President Ruto has remained mum on the impeachment charges against his deputy, who is said to face 3 individuals perceived to be his juniors and will testify against him before the National Assembly, that is tomorrow on Tuesday. And as Ian Kitani reports, the 3 includes Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, who will be hoping that their testimonies will help seal Gachagua's fate, and will battle a battery of lawyers assembled by DP Gachagua, among them Senior Counsel Paul Muite, in a bid to absolve himself from accusations leveled against him.
As the day beckons for Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua over his destiny with fate, the DP is eating a humble pie with an apology. The tough-talking DP, in a bid to have the legislators and the president change their mind over their impeachment plans, is apologizing over the wrongs he may have committed that might have landed him in his current political quagmire.
So my brother President William Ruto, if in our zeal to work, I have wronged you, please find it in your heart to forgive me.
Embattled Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will have his date with destiny on Tuesday, with the National Assembly set to debate on his impeachment motion tabled by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse. The DP's sentiments come even as his boss, President William Ruto, continued to steer off the matter amid public uproar in the just concluded public participations, in which Kenyans demanded that the president vacates office with his deputy. Gachagua, who has been termed as combative in the recent past and taking his boss head-on.
Rais wetu na kuomba, hii serikali usiharibu. Hii serikali tulipata pamoja. Hii serikali wacha tutembee pamoja. wacha tukafanye kazi miaka 3 ile imebaki. Hapo mbele kama uko na maneno ingine unaweza amua.
Despite his apologies, a section of MPs still maintain that the DP should be impeached.
Tumejaribu kukaa na huyo kiongozi, tukakaa chini, tukamwelezea rekebisha maneno. Wachana na hii vita. Leta Wakenya pamoja. Aski tukamwelezea tena na tena. Aski ikafika mahali tukasema sasa kama wabunge tutakuondoa katika hiyo kiti.
As the political temperatures keep on rising, the president and his deputy, reading from different scripts, both political and religious leaders, have called on the duo to find an amicable solution to the ongoing feud.
The only trusted person remaining now from where we are is that of the church and the religious organization in this country. So I'm calling upon them to play a big role in uniting this country.
Tukiwa kama viongozi wa kidini, tukiwa kama viongozi ambao wanaangalia pia maslahi ya wananchi, tukiwa wananchi wazalendo, ni kuwa siasa za kugawanya wananchi zisiweko kwa sasa, bali maendeleo ndio tunahitaji kwa sasa.
The debate comes amid revelations that Mutuse has lined up 3 key witnesses against the DP, led by his nemesis Nairobi Governor Arthur Johnson Sakaja, Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjaur, and former KEMSA boss Andrew Mulwa. Sakaja, who for a long time has been at loggerheads with the DP, has sworn an affidavit on the shifting of Wakulima market traders to Outer Ring Road, a move that Gachagua resisted. The county chief in his affidavit says that on September 20th, Gachagua, in a reckless disregard of the high calling and dignified status of the office of the DP, unlawfully interfered with the running of the county by holding a rally and inciting citizens against lawful directives in the planning and management of the markets. On her part, Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjaur accuses Gachagua of opposing cabinet-approved evacuation of residents living within 30 meters of the Nairobi River, a move that she says undermines government policy. Former KEMSA boss Andrew Mulwa, the third witness, claims that the DP influenced the award of the 3.7 billion malaria nets tender. In his affidavit, Mulwa says the DP called him and instructed him to hand over to his agent the original bid bond submitted by a company for the tender. As a junior boss, Mulwa argues that he had nothing to do as the DP was his boss. As Mutuse lines up his witnesses in a bid to oust the DP, Gachagua on his part has lined up a battery of lawyers led by senior counsel Paul Muite. The 20-member legal team has been meeting up with a second-in-command and are set to defend him against the 11 accusations in the National Assembly, the Senate and the courts. Gachagua's team insists that he will not resign and will fight to clear his name. Ian Keitani, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Meanwhile, President William Ruto has assured the church that his government will not allow the freedom of worship to be tampered with amid a proposal to introduce a code of conduct for Kenyan religious centers. Addressing congregants at AIC Milimani, Nairobi, Ruto told church leaders that his administration will defend the freedom of worship and allow churches to self-regulate their activities. His sentiments comes after weeks of church leaders expressing their concerns over calls to regulate churches in the country. Alan Owino reports.
Speaking during a church service on Sunday in AIC Milimani, Nairobi, President William Ruto stated that churches will be protected, calling on those with contrary ideas to allow religious leaders to self-regulate.
Allow religious leaders themselves to develop how they want to regulate themselves, because that was the recommendation of the task force I appointed under Reverend Mutaba Mushimi, that the religious body in Kenya will decide how they want to make sure that the freedom of worship in Kenya is protected. And I want to give assurance to the church and to the religious institutions in Kenya that we will defend the right and the freedom of worship in Kenya, and it will not be compromised.
According to Ruto, interfering with the church was a blatant violation of the Constitution.
as government, we respect our constitution. The preamble of the Constitution of Kenya says God of all creation. That is the beginning of the Constitution of Kenya, meaning that we surrender to God. And that is why Kenya shall continue to be a God-fearing nation. And we will defend the freedom of worship in our republic.
The president's sentiments lie on the backdrop of the draft religious organization recommendations that was presented to him on the 30th of July by the Presidential Task Force on the review of the legal and regulatory framework governing religious organizations in Kenya. Among the proposals put across by the task force were that churches should submit their financial returns to the government every year, the establishment of the Religious Affairs Commission to oversee religious matters, as well as the suspension of religious institutions for 6 months for those that would fail to file their annual returns. Religious organizations are seemingly up in arms over the Tana River Senator Danson Mungatana Bill, Religious Organization Bill of 2024, which awaits public participation that would establish the office of the Registrar for religious organizations such as churches, which would issue or revoke registrations of religious organizations and churches. The Religious Organizations Bill 2024 proposes that the clergymen and churches who do not register shall be charged a fine of 5 million shillings or a 3-year sentence, that the eligibility of religious organizations must be supported by 25 people of the same faith and a religious leader with a certified theology education. The bill further mandates that religious bodies should create separate bank accounts for offerings and tithes, with those for income generated from other economic activities like selling merchandise. With the president's pronouncements today, it begs the question of what essence really was the formation of the technical committee with the proposal stipulated in that document staring at a premature death. Alan Owino for K24.
Our focus is now on matters health. The patients who spent their own money to pay for services in hospitals from the 1st of October instead of NHIF covering the costs will be refunded their money by the Social Health Authority. This comes even as the authority calls upon beneficiaries to ensure their dependents are registered to avoid inconveniences. Robbie Mondi with the details.
We have, as of today, 6th October 2024, registered a total of 12,704,548 members into the Social Health Authority.
Hundreds of Kenyans have had to pay from their pockets to access critical services such as dialysis during the migration from NHIF to SHIF. And following the outcry of patients, the Social Health Authority has committed to refund those who spent their money.
An example was Amze, who actually cried on the TV, and immediately we got that. Actually, we followed up with the patient. The patient, by the name James Ngaruya Kanyore, was a patient from Nakuru who went to hospital called Sublime Hospital in Nakuru town, in Kenyatta Avenue, and he could not access service the first day he went there. We followed up with the patient. We actually talked to the patient ourselves, talked to the son, who was the caretaker, and actually followed up and made sure that in the next session, he will not going to go through any problem. The next session, his next session will going to be tomorrow on Monday, and we have also agreed that we are refunding the 9,500 that was paid by him to the facility. We also got another patient from Mombasa Coast General Hospital, who raised some issue, and we also followed up with the patient and made sure that the next session that he has, which is chemo, which is also tomorrow, will be taken care of.
All patients who have paid out of pocket, reach out to us and we will do the same for them. All the patients who have paid out of pocket.
This comes even as all SHA beneficiaries have been called upon to ensure they onboard their dependents to enable them access services in the 1,442 contracted health facilities.
All public hospitals level 2 to 6 have been contracted and are offering services to SHA registered beneficiaries. With regard to private and faith-based health facilities, as of today, 6th October 2024, a total of 1,442 health facilities have since returned duly signed contracts and are therefore offering services to SHA registered beneficiaries.
So far, pending bills owed to facilities have been a major challenge, which the ministry has vowed to fast-track to enable service delivery to Kenyans.
How are we going as a government to continue supporting them and meeting our obligations, payments of the outstanding bills? We realize that has been one of the biggest challenges because the service providers, their resources are now dwindling and they are not able to cope with additional members of the public who want to seek service within their facilities. We are going to fast track as a government payments of the pending bills. And to help us do that, we have formed a committee under my leadership which will then quickly move and clear any pending bills so that we are able to support them. This is going to be sustainable for them in their service delivery.
I am calling upon the state agencies which owe money to the defunct NHIF. Without any further delay, release those funds. We as providers are ready to cooperate, but we will cooperate when we have the money as well, because it is necessary for the provision of services.
To this end, the NHIF system will still be in operation even as the authority works on the e-claim system that will be available to all within the next 24 hours.
We have also made sure that the health insurance claim system, HICS, operating under the defunct NHIF, continues to be in operation for member verification, discharge of patients admitted before 1st October 2024, and for claims management. We have agreed the healthcare providers that a joint committee chaired by the Principal Secretary, State Department for Medical Service, shall be constituted to undertake verification of all pending bills incurred under the defunct NHIF. Further, we have committed to the healthcare providers to prioritize the bills during the transition period, which is from 1st October 2024. As a result, there shall be frequent consultation with all healthcare providers.
It remains open and you can continue to use it to verify clients before you offer service.
This comes in a bid for the ministry to ensure universal health coverage to all Kenyans.
Our delivery of UHC is premised on digitization. The private sector had done quite a lot in terms of digitization and we are very happy with that. We are only integrating into the system. We had challenges because the systems could not speak to each other, and today our technical teams have worked with them.
Robbie Omondi, K24.
Well, away from that. Now, a section of Muslim leaders drawn from the Muslim group of Ulama of Kenya have called on the government to stay firm on its fight against the use of Moka, especially along the coastal region. The Moka fight received a boost after the group embraced a campaign against it and have assured the country of a strategy to put to an end the use of the substance which they allege is causing more harm than good among the youths. Milia Kisenya with more.
As the Mirror stalemate on whether its consumption should be legalized or not continues to gain momentum, especially along the coastal region, the fight against this substance has continued to elicit mixed reactions. The latest to weigh in on the consumption of the substance among the youth is from Muslim Ulama of Kenya.
Have been condemning Mirror. It's been going on for the last 30 years. Regretfully, the graph of consumption is going up and is getting to dangerous levels. And it's no longer only consumption of Mirror, it is Mirror and the partners of Mirror, which is hard substances, which is a lot of them. Okay? So it's dangerous to our economy, to the society, and everybody else. What we have started here today is a collective response and mobilization of the whole society.
Addressing the media, the Ulama have voiced their concerns and want a toll ban on this substance.
The destruction of individuals, families, and entire communities. The Muslim ulama of Kenya, guided by the tenets of Islam and our duty to promote the well-being of the Ummah, hereby resolves the following. 1. Aggressively campaign for the eradication of miraa and the substance abuse across the nation. This campaign will involve direct outreach to communities at the national level, and the county level, and the below sub-county level at the grassroots level. We will work in partnership with mosques, community leaders, youth groups, civil society to spread awareness and advocate for change.
From us is the support in terms of leadership, in terms of government and all that kind of things. But we are in 100% support on the issue of ensuring that this menace is eradicated from the region. It costs lives, it costs a lot of economic misfortunes, health, and so forth. And so we are on board as leadership, and we are fully in support of the same.
To this end, they are claiming that a campaign is in the offing and will include creating public awareness and sensitization to ensure the substance is out of reach for the youths within the society.
We are engaging the government, we are engaging the civil society, we are engaging the chiefs and the administration at the ground level, we are engaging the local leaders, and we have got a major strategy which is coming up. This is the beginning of the process, but it's going to be a long-term, drawn-out, strategized, and it's going to move along those lines. Probably, on my right here is the MP for Mandera North. Probably wants to say a few things.
5 months ago, the government, through the President William Ruto, reversed the contentious ban imposed in parts of the coastal counties against Moka, also known as miraa or cat. President Ruto had reiterated the legality of crop and that the sale should not be prevented. His move was rebutted by governors of the 3 counties along the coastal region, who maintained that the ban on the sale and use of the substance was still on course. Milia Kisenya, K24 TV.
Well, and as promised, today being on a Monday, we focus on the state of politics, more specifically the matter of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's removal from office through an impeachment motion that was tabled by the Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse. In studio once again, I'll be joined by Prof. Fred Ogola, governance expert. He's already with me in studio. Steve Mbogwa, council member of the Law Society of Kenya. And as well, Honorable Kimani Ngunjiri is the former member of parliament for Bahati constituency. At that juncture, I invite your feedback via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, as well on our SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of your screens. Should the President Ruto forgive his deputy? And that would mean perhaps saving him from the ongoing process of removal at Parliament. That includes the National Assembly and the Senate. We'll be right back with what is on our daily list this morning. Stay tuned.
Mr. DJ Blackie. Anguka now. When it comes to playing the best music videos, we've got you covered. K24 TV Mix Master. When it comes to a lineup of all the fresh DJs, we've got that too. Yeah! Check this out. Caribbean. From the t-shirt Afrobeat. Our famous and infamous Kenyan jam.
By the way, let me tell you mine.
And all the hits from across the globe.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
This is the Beat Box. Monday to Friday from 5 to